he comes convinced that the superior race, the greatest race of humanity, are the Jews. Why? Because unlike other races, the Jews refuse to intermarry. They refuse to breed with other cultures. And so as a result, the Jews are first and foremost pure. They are Aryan. Okay, this is really ironic again because the Nazis will use this idea 100 years later to justify the Holocaust. But at this time in history, the Jews think that they are the superior race because they are the most pure, okay? So this is all that is saying. All right, can you read, Amber?
In this country, says Sidonia.
So this country, of course, is England, right?
Since the peace, there has been an attempt to advocate a reconstruction of society on a purely rational basis. The principle of utility has been powerfully developed. I speak not with lightness of the labors of the disciples of that school. I bow to intellect in every form, and we should be grateful to any school of philosophers, even if we disagree with them. Doubtly grateful in this country, where for so long a period of our statesmen were in so pitiable an arrear of public intelligence. There has been an attempt to reconstruct society on a basis of material motives and calculations.
Okay, so again, this is the idea of utilitarianism, right? This is Jeremy Bentham, John Stuart Mill. Keep on going.
It has failed. It must ultimately have failed under any circumstances. Its failure in an ancient and densely peopled kingdom was inevitable. How limited is human reason, the profoundest inquirers are most conscious. We are not in debt to the reason of man for any of the great achievements, which are the landmarks of human action and human progress. It was not reason to be besieged Troy. It was not reason that sent forth the Saracen from the desert to conquer the world.
Okay, so the Saracens are the Muslims, okay? Keep on going.
That inspired the Crusades, that instituted the monastic orders. It was not reason that produced the Jesuits. Above all, it was not reason that created the French Revolution. Man is only truly great when he acts from the passion. Never irresistible, but when he appeals to the imagination. Even Mormons counts more votaries than Bentham. And you think then that an imagination once subdued the state, imagination may now save it. Man is made to adore and to obey. But if you will not command him, if you give him nothing to worship, he will fashion his own divinities and find a chieftain in his own passions.
So, Sonoy is emphasizing the limitations of British philosophy, right? Locke, Hume, Bentham, Mill, they're all limited. And so what the British need is for the Jews, with their imagination, with their religion, to save the British, to lead the British, to guide the British. Okay, does that make sense? So again, this is trying to establish Jewish supremacy. Okay, all right, this is much too long, okay? But what he's really saying is that, listen, we Jews, we want to be part of society. We are naturally conservative, but we also want to practice our religion. So if you, at any point, if you, the British, at any point, try to restrain us, if you try to take away our religious rights, we will rebel against you. We are cohesive. We will stand up for liberalism. We will stand up for secularism. We will stand up for individualism. Because these three philosophies are what most protect us from religious overreach. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what he's saying. So Alan, can you start here? You never observe.
You never observe a great intellectual movement in Europe in which the Jews do not greatly participate. The first Jesuits were Jews.
This is true, okay, guys. The secret intelligence agency of the Catholic Church were first Jews. This is true. Keep on going.
That mysterious Russian diplomacy which so alarmed Western Europe is organized and principally carried on by Jews.
So the Jews are the agents of the Russian Empire. Keep on going.
That mighty revolution which is at this moment preparing in Germany, and which will be, in fact, a second and greater reformation, and of which so little is as yet known in England, is entirely developing under the auspices of Jews, who almost monopolize the professorial chairs of Germany.
Okay, so this hasn't happened yet. Okay, he's saying this is year 1844. He's saying like the revolution that you will see later on in Germany, we organized it, man. We Jews organized it. Why? Because we control the academies, we control the professorships of Germany. Keep on reading.
Neither the founder of spiritual Christianity, who is Regius Professor of Divinity in the University of Berlin, is a Jew.
Okay, so keep on going. Okay, we won't read it. About how many professors are Jews? Okay, do you understand? Now, what's amazing is, again, this came out in 1844 and 1848. There were revolutions throughout Europe, throughout Germany. So how did Disraeli know about this? Well, possibly because the British were helping to finance all this, right? From the alliance between the British and Septine Frankists. All right, can you read, Amber?
Okay.
From here, okay?
A few years back, we were applied to by Russia. Now, there has been no friendship between the court of St. Petersburg and my family. It has Dutch connections, which have generally supplied it, and are representations in favor of the Polish Hebrews, a numerous race, but the most suffering and degraded of all the tribes, have not been very agreeable to the Caesar.
The Tsar. Okay, so what he's saying is, we're very rich, and nation states come and look for us for money, okay? So Russia wants a loan from us. We said, no, you mistreat the Jews, so we're not gonna give you any money, okay? The Russians are notorious for being anti-Semitic at this stage. Okay, keep on going.
However, circumstances drew to an approximation between the Romanovs
The Romanovs are the controlling family of Russia.
and the Sidonians. I resolved to go myself to St. Petersburg. I had, on my arrival, an interview with the Russian Minister of Finance,
Count.
Cankrin. I beheld the son of a Lithuanian Jew. The loan was connected with the affairs of Spain. I resolved on repairing to Spain from Russia. I traveled without intermission. I had an audience immediately on my arrival with the Spain minister, Senor Mendizabal. I beheld one like myself, the son of a Nuevo Cristiano, a Jew of Aragon. In consequence of what transpired at Madrid, I went straight to Paris to consult the president of the French Council. I beheld the son of a French Jew, a hero, an imperial marshal, and very appropriately so, for who should be military heroes if not those who worship the Lord of hosts. And is Solut a Hebrew? Yes, and others of the French marshals, and the most famous, Massena, for example. His real name was Manasseh. But to my anecdote, the consequence of our consultations was that some northern powers should be applied to in a friendly and mediative capacity. We fixed on Prussia, and the president of council made an application to the Prussian minister, who attended a few days after a conference. Count Arnim entered the cabinet, and I beheld a Prussian Jew. So you see, my dear Conisby, that the world is governed by a very different personage from what is imagined by those who are not behind the scenes.
So it's Jews who control the world, because only Jews get along together, okay? So if Jews didn't exist, the world couldn't get along, right? And Jews hide everywhere. And that's how the world works, guys. You think the person in charge is in charge, but actually it's a secret society of Jews.